Wait a second. This house... No, it can't be. Mother would sit in her chair, rocking back and forth. Killing time until the next service. She barely spent any time with us. I wondered why she even had children at all.
Does this explain things? So, it gets explained in a bit, so it's not really a spoiler. I mean, technically, by definition, it is a spoiler, but whatever. So, that house was Kidman's childhood home. This place is where Kidman lived as a child.
Leslie! Leslie, stop!
Which, I thought it was something to do with Ruben, but it doesn't make sense, because he really only knows the mansion and...
At night, I would stare up at the statue lit up in the center of town. It looked like it was crying for all the wasted life in that place.
Like, Ruben only really knows his house and, like, that barn. That's all he's associated with. So I'm like, how does this fit in with Ruben? I mean, I know he mentioned something about a church and whatnot, but it's not clear. Turns out, this place had nothing to do with Ruben.
Stem must be creating this.
This place was part of Kidman's past, which I don't know if it's in the notes. I don't remember it being in the notes in the main game. So it's just a little mystery. There should have been something more than nothing stating that this was Kidman's place. Or something to do with Kidman, associated with Kidman. Something more than nothing. I'm sure there's somewhere in the notes explaining how this place is related to Kidman, but there's so little dialogue in the main game, and the notes are so like backstory heavy with Sebastian that none of them really say anything about Kidman or Joseph or the places really. The only thing they really talk about the places is, oh yes, yes, there's stuff going on. Doesn't really say anything, but the story of this DLC... freaking tired again. You know, in a real-life situation, if you're being chased by enemies, your adrenaline would kick in and you could probably run a long time. More than just, like, 2 seconds.
In life, we constantly search for a place we feel safe. A home we can always come back to. We imagine that place in our minds and are drawn to it. You had a home, but now that place is here with us.
So now we're part of this weird Mobius cult. There's unfortunately still this DLC. So the main game brought to attention that there's something going on with some kind of group, and this DLC pretty much said, yeah, that group's called Mobius and they're kind of doing this thing, and that's it. There's not even more information about that. Like, are you serious? I made several saves there because in my test playthrough, not my test playthrough really, but when I first played through this to practice, there was a cutscene.
They're drawn to it.
We're getting close to the end of this chapter, and there was a cutscene at the end of the chapter that
Let it be Leslie.
I think a button on my keyboard was sticking or something because, or my controller, or a glitch. Because, you know how there's that press B to skip in the corner? Well, it held it down. Something happened. It was held down and it skipped the cutscene. And I went from one area to something completely different. And I'll explain it when it gets to... I went from inside the church to hallways running. And I'm like, what just happened? Where am I? How even? Because it skipped the cutscene, so I totally missed all the detail, unfortunately. Achievement tip here There's this guy and another guy that'll be over here on this side in a second. In a second. Should be over here anytime soon. But the achievement is to get a crawler to kill one of the enemies, one of the haunted, is what they're called. And this is the first spot you can do it. There's another spot later on that it's actually a lot easier to do it, and kind of the best way to get past it. But here you go, it eats him up, and the other guy should explode. Guess not. They totally should have exploded, but I guess not. Your hopes is to get that guy with the torch, because he blocks the path more than pretty much everyone else. And this guy, from that side on that side of the tomb and this side of the tomb, he goes back and forth twice. Back, forth, back. Yeah, back and forth twice. And then he walks over to the other side. Like, see, he just did a second round. He's going to walk back over here. And I want to wait for him to start moving. There we go. Because once you break this, he gets alerted. And you can easily... So once he's alerted and you're in proximity, he starts glowing red and starts to expand and explode. Look at that. Boom. Look at that twirling and that click click. But what you can do is you can do that and then get close to him. You can get close to him, make him start exploding, then run away. And if you're on far enough, or hide in a vent, or maybe a locker, he will, or the enemy, the exploding dude will just explode and be fine. And you'll be fine. Like I said earlier when I had to, I'm not going to go closer, it's too risky. In the one area when we first encountered them, that one that was right by that one spot, I lured him away just enough and was fast enough to alert him, make him explode, and crawl through the vent as he was exploding. So he exploded right next to my face, like less than a foot away from Kidman. Which, if I wasn't going through the invincibility frames of an animation, would have killed me. But since, you know, invincibility frames and everything, baby, it was A-okay. Also, you probably don't have to kill this guy. Oh, that was nice clip in there. My practice playthrough, I can't pick up the torch, unfortunately, which is stupid. Which I guess makes sense, because you'd have to put it away. You can't put it away because, you know, it's a fire, so whatever. Oh no, more enemies. I have to activate the bell to... Well, another reminiscent nugget of Resident Evil 4 here. Who's here? Is it Rubinvik Marin bad guy? Yeah, in the main game, you know, you pick up the torches to insta kill an enemy, either by hitting them or by hitting them. Not stealth killing them with it, because you had the knife and you can stealth kill with that. Pretty much just run past this part. Once you get far enough there. Because you get to the ladder, they take a second to get up the ladder, but it doesn't matter, because once you activate this, give a 3 tugs for good measure, they all come running at you. At that point, you want to run and book it here. Unfortunately, a little corpse guy shows up, but don't worry about him. He might get alerted, but by the time you get to the door, you're safe.
Right. It's safe now. You can let me in.
Safe? It's safe now? Hurt.
Yeah, that was close.
He's here.
Finally found you. You're not hurt, are you?
Getting stronger. Can't get away.
We'll be fine, Leslie.
Church.
How am I gonna get us out of here?
Church, please.
The church.
Please, church. Church.
All right, come on. Stay close to me. I'll protect you.
Church.
So his ramblings might seem like ramblings of a madman, and they kind of are. But Leslie here, he's saying that getting stronger, can't escape, whatever. Basically saying how Ruben is getting stronger because he's slowly devouring the mind of of Asian Clark Kent there, and gaining more power mentally. Kind of. Oh no! There he is. That was spooky, well, wasn't it? Very spooky. But Ruben is gaining more power because the more mines he consumes, which is basically what he's doing. Because the stem is running off his brainwaves, basically. And so each mine lost in the stem is basically fueling him. And as he gets more powerful, he gets more powerful, and
See,
he's...
almost there. Just a little further.
getting more powerful and slowly taking over Leslie. Which is bad because if he takes over Leslie, he takes over his body, which we know he does. So, you know, it's all for naught.
What the hell? You've got to be kidding me. Shit. Leslie, you've got to hide. Don't come out until I call you.
So despite that noise, we're not actually in danger. Despite the noise and the music and the sound cues, we're not in danger. There's not a giant monster. It would have been interesting if there was maybe a little path around. We had to kind of wander around to avoid a monster, like these objects. We need these 3 objects. But I guess it's implied that Sebastian is here fighting the dudes at the same time we are, even though it's supposed to be daytime when he's here.
I started young. I would sneak into the graveyard, steal the statues, and hide them. I wanted people to think they were cursed, but every morning they were back in their right place.
Yeah, this part, making Leslie hide because of danger, doesn't make much sense, because there is no danger. It's weird. Oh, my head's pounding.
I had enough.
So yeah, we're in the beginning where Sebastian popped up, and we had to fight that giant monster dude with the help of Joseph. Oh, that was scary. Little spook scare. I think you have to activate that to activate this pathway back. Although you probably could just walk all the way back. Maybe. I mean, there shouldn't be anything stopping you. A little bit of a puzzle here. You see this, read this note over here under this statue. 5, the plague came, took their lives at the start. 7, mother turned to church. And at 14, I left. I wrote I had gone to heaven. So that is actually the story of Kidman, involving her and her mother. And, you know, 5 livestock, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she had left her home at 14 because she didn't like it here, clearly. Which, oh, damn, my head's pounding. Had to take some head medication after
the church
this.
is right ahead. It should be a little safer in there. Damn it!
Another one of those instances where you want to immediately hide. We do have... Oh, nice, weird sound cue there. We have to get around this guy somehow. Once we get to the gate, we'll be fine and safe. But Kidman can't run for nothing. So you just have to avoid him a little bit. Just to make sure. This is the twin giant of the other guy. Just walk around, wait until he blah blah blah. And then you can start walking. And if he notices you, well, you can start running a little ways in. He's got chains literally coming out of his back. That's rough. So we made it to the church. And we're almost there. We're almost safe, I guess. Whatever the church has to do with safeness. Holy representation and whatnot, I guess. Manifestation of mind stuffs.
Get you. Church. Get you. Get you.
It's all right. I'm here. Nothing is going to get you. You have to stay with me. There's no other way.
He's here!
Ruvik, what do you want with me?
You. I'm just making sure you're doing your job. Just like me, I doubt they want damaged goods.
Back up! He's coming with me.
Oh, I hope so. I needn't remind you the consequences for failure. Your people aren't the only ones counting on this boy. You need him to get out.
As do I. We're all their pawns, eventual victims. They killed me. They ripped me apart and took what they needed. I will destroy what they wish to control.
Ruvik? Stop it! Let him go!
He is my vessel. I am in control.
I sense a conflict of interest. Just what was your mission exactly? Do you think their all-prying eyes can't see and hear? They've been watching you, kid.
What are you doing, kid? You are to bring the boy back to us.
No! I can't! If I bring Leslie out, Ruvik comes with him. We don't know what he's capable of. I can't let that happen.
You swore allegiance, but you are not in a position to make decisions like this. This is not acceptable behavior. You will bring us back that boy. Run all you want, kid. You can't escape. Like everyone else that crosses us, we will hunt you down.
So this is what I was talking about. Imagine going from opening the door to the church to all of a sudden this and going, what the heck even is going on? Because that whole cutscene was skipped for me the first time playing through this. But there's something that happened in that two things I liked in that cutscene actually was when Ruben was actually starting to control Leslie, she just kind of bumped into him and was like, wait a second, what? No, Leslie, you can't. No, I like that. That was cool. But then the whole the guy's like, what are you doing? Give us that boy. And she's like, I can't. He's gonna take over him. Don't understand. If I take Leslie out, Ruben's gonna come with him. But then, you know, the dialogue kind of was dumb. And they were like, oh yeah, whatever. Just give us the boy though. It's like, you don't understand though. Like, I guess maybe they're assuming that Ruvik's mind can come out and they can use it to help further their studies, but then keep the brain in there to fuel the machine, maybe? I don't know. I don't think it would work that way. Quite that way, no. I think his mind fuels the machine, not just the brain. So if you take the mind out of the brain, what is it anyway?
You will bring us back that boy.
I mean, what is the brain without a mind? Just a hunk of meat, right? Also, I really like the shadow figure. who's scarily reminiscent of, if you've ever seen it, Father from Kids Next Door.
Having all of you in one place will provide us with opportunities.
I can't trust you! Not like this!
No. She's coming with us. She's my responsibility.
Look, Seb, we need to talk. You're getting out of control.
Finally, with this machine, I can go back.
We can continue the experiments.
There are some things here that are to remain in the dark.
Beacon. I just hope I can get there before he does.
A little hasty with that gun, kid. What is it you plan on doing?
All those lines of dialogue just now. All those lines of dialogue just now are from the next DLC, The Consequence. I don't think they should have been two separate DLCs, honestly. I think they should have been the same. Hey, only one death in that one stupid spot. Awesome. But next time we'll continue with Chapter 3, and then followed by Chapter 4, concluding and continuing Kidman's story, and we'll learn a little more about Joseph Sebastian and about Mobius.